Hello, welcome my people. It's been like a day that I've not come online. So I saw this video. I wanted to watch it. When we come back, we're going to...
For clarity and for record purposes, Ajayi Crowther never spoke Igbo. He never understood. In fact, the book Isoma by Ajayi Crowther was a copy manuscript from Simon Jonas, who of course was an Igbo man from the Isoma region, who was also a slave mate and a partner to Ajayi Crowther. They stayed together in Lagos before they were decoyed to Sierra Leone. You can look that, you can browse that information out, and you get more details and insights as regards that.
Now, did you see that? They have started rewriting the history of what Ajayi Crowther stood for and was in Nigerian history. Now, what they have forgotten is that CMS, yes, the Anglican Communion in Nigeria, has this history in its confines, in their library. They have this history. So, Igbo people, come around. So, you guys have been deconstructing Ajayi Crowther. Well, we are going to serialize his history. Ajayi Crowther was the one who wrote the primer on Igbo. It was not Simon Jonas, like this person claimed. Yes, Simon Jonas could have been, of course, when you want to write the grammar of a language that is not yours. My primary training, I have said it, is English linguistics. Yes. I am a professional of English linguistics, so I know linguistics and I know how we do translation, how we do these things. My husband is a Bible translator. Yes. So I know how translation is done. When you want to translate in a language that is not your mother tongue, even your mother tongue at times, you would need somebody that will be like a... how do we call it now? Who will be like a source of information? We do it a lot. Whenever there's my Oga is into translation. She's a professional in Yoruba translation, English to Yoruba. Now, there were times she had projects on Igbo. So she consulted an Igbo person. Now, that consultation, does that make the Igbo person the writer of the work she did? No. She was the one who did that translation, that Igbo translation. The same thing happened to Ajayi Crowther. He was the one who wrote that primer. Though he had people, helpers, consultants that he consulted with. People that are Igbos originally that he consulted with. In fact, from the history of Ajayi Crowther, he spoke Igbo. He spoke Hausa. He learned a bit of Hausa. He spoke Hausa. I learned he spoke Igala. Of course, Igala is very close. It's Yoruboid. And I think he spoke Nupe. By the time we go into his history, we are going to learn some of these things about the man. Now, coming out to rewrite this history, it just shows how terrible you guys are. Now, it is not just the history of Ajayi Crowther, the history of the Nigerian Civil War. You are rewriting it just because you do not want to take the fault. You do not want your ancestors, your heroes, the people you call heroes like Ojukwu, the people you call heroes like Chinua Achebe, and many of them, Christopher Okigbo, all of them, like Ife Ajuna, all of them, you didn't want them to take the blame for the Civil War, but you will come out on the social media and drag go on. But you do not want your own leaders who led you into that ill-fated war. You do not want to blame them. You would rather blame other people's leaders. So because of that, you are rewriting the history of the Civil War. These are things we are going to be looking at this year. The history of the Civil War. We're going to look at this Ajayi Crowther. We're going to look at the history. One of my brothers has serialized it before, so we'll be using what he did and be using his books, materials, to do this serialization. I hope you follow me, you share the videos. Please share this video. Let it get where it should get you. You guys, shame on you for rewriting history. The CMS in Nigeria has that history. I was born into the CMS. My father lived, and in fact, his own father was the one that became an Anglican. My father was born into CMS. His own father and his mother, they became Anglicans. So he was born into CMS, and he gave birth to me and my siblings into CMS. So I know this history like the back of my hand. In fact, one of Ajayi Crowther's granddaughter-in-law is on social media, and she speaks Igbo, because it was not just Ajayi Crowther that learned Igbo in his family. I think he also, maybe when he was doing the work, some of his family members picked up the language, and when he was living in the East, some of his family members picked up the language. His granddaughter, she's our friend, she's elderly, she's over, she should be 72 this year. She speaks Igbo. So, you guys, make una well done for una lies. Have a nice time.